What do you make of Russia and Vladimir Putin? What do you think about Putin as a leader, as a human being on this world stage within the context of the cycles of empires that you think about?
Well, Putin came to power at the failure of Russia's last order. So there was the end of communism, and there was the development of the market economy, the collapse of the Soviet Union. And at that time, he was appointed by Yeltsin, who was an alcoholic and had problems managing, and was put into power. And the conditions in the Russia were there was anarchy, there was no money. It had the classic end of cycle ingredients. It was broke. It was people were fighting with each other. It was the anarchy, and that's when he came to power. And there were not institutions. The whole thing had collapsed. It was not effective Ministry of Education, Ministry of anything. And so the idea was that they needed 25 years of stability, and they needed a democracy, and they needed the improvement of capital markets. So he's been in that position as I guess I would call him a semi-autocratic leader, in that, from all indications, he would respect the democracy, and he's very popular. He's won democratic elections because he's been a strong leader, and he's brought peace and stability to the to Russia after the breakup of the Soviet Union. And he's a strong leader in pursuit of the country's interests, in a way where Russia is not a significant economic power, but it is a significant military power. So the issues, and then there's a strong alliance between Russia and China now. So that's kind of the lay of the land. And then there are sensitivities. The Ukraine issue is a sensitivity because of there are a lot of Russians who live in the Ukraine, and there's also the issue of NATO on their border. So there are those kinds of things, and he has military power, and he has a strong alliance with China. And I guess that's my best summary of what his position is. Strong leader, popular. These are not subjective interpretations. These are objective interpretations.
Yeah, it's interesting just in this conversation, you're not sort of doing the usual criticism of any one particular system. You're looking at these systems from the perspective of history. You're just describing how they work. It's often times when you talk about what Russia is today, or what the Soviet Union was, or what China is today, is you start to criticize, well, they do this kind of censorship, or they do this kind of, they limit freedoms in this kind of way. But you're just kind of describing this as a nation with ideas, what they think is right. This is how they hope to get it to work. This is why it's working. This is what's not working. Here's metrics that show that it's not working. I think that's a refreshing way to think about it. It's easy, though. I mean, you got some criticism saying that I think China's a strict parent. Some people criticize these countries for doing, for violating human rights. I suppose there's some people that criticize the United States for violating human rights. But what are your thoughts